Book of Jubilees is one of the most mysterious ancient texts. But did you know it may contain evidence of mermaids and other pre-flood beings? For centuries, historians and theologians have debated the origins of the Book of Jubilees. Some call it a forgotten relic. Others believe it holds hidden truths that were deliberately erased from history. But there's something strange within its pages. Descriptions of creatures that don't quite fit into the biblical narrative we've been told. Creatures that sound eerily similar to what we call mermaids today. In 1895, a little-known manuscript was found in an Ethiopian monastery, buried beneath layers of dust and time. When scholars finally translated it, they were shocked. It spoke of beings that existed before the Great Flood. Hybrid creatures, neither fully human nor fully beast. Some had features of sea creatures, living in the waters yet possessing an intelligence unlike any known animal. Could these be the origins of mermaid legends? Then there's the account of Father Giovanni Petrus, a 17th century missionary who traveled through Africa and the Middle East collecting ancient texts. In his personal letters that were hidden for centuries, he describes hearing local myths about a race of aquatic beings that lived before the flood. According to the elders he spoke with, these beings were not just myths but remnants of a forgotten history. And here's where it gets even stranger. In 1923, a fisherman off the coast of Yemen claimed to have found an ancient tablet, one covered in strange markings. Linguists who studied the artifact believed it was written in a form of pre-Hebrew script, one that bore eerie similarities to passages found in the Book of Jubilees. The translation? Beware the ones who came from the waters. Their songs deceived the sons of Adam. Their blood mixed with ours, and the sea carried their secrets. What does this mean? Were these creatures part of the forbidden unions between fallen beings and humanity? And if so, why was this knowledge erased? For years, historians have dismissed these stories as mere folklore, but something doesn't add up. The Book of Jubilees is filled with unusual accounts of pre-flood beings, not just the Nephilim, but other hybrid creatures that walked and possibly swam among early humans. But if these beings were real, where did they go? In 1938, British explorer James Wilcott was mapping the depths of the Red Sea when he claimed to have seen something impossible. According to his journal, which was later sealed away by the British Museum, Wilcott and his crew encountered a strange humanoid figure swimming near their ship. It had elongated limbs, webbed fingers, and large black eyes that reflected the moonlight. At first they thought it was a large fish, until it rose above the water, locked eyes with them, and let out a sound that chilled the entire crew to the bone. Wilcott described it as a melody that was not of this world, beautiful yet deeply unsettling. The next morning, Wilcott's ship was badly damaged, as if something had tried to breach its hull from below. Some of his crew abandoned the expedition, convinced they had encountered something not meant to be seen. His logs were later confiscated, and the incident was never spoken of again. But here's where it gets even stranger. Deep within the Book of Jubilees, there is a passage that speaks of the Watchers, angels who descended to earth and took human wives, creating offspring known as the Nephilim. However, what most scholars ignore is a single obscure reference to creatures of the deep. And the waters bore their own, and they knew not the face of the Most High, yet they sang as the daughters of Eve, and they led men into the depths. Could this be an ancient reference to siren-like beings? Could the so-called daughters of the deep have been a forgotten race that once lived among humans? Fast forward to the 1950s, Soviet researchers conducting deep-sea experiments in Lake Baikal claimed to have seen strange humanoid figures swimming at extreme depths without oxygen tanks or any visible diving equipment. When a team of divers attempted to make contact, 3 of them vanished without a trace. The mission was quickly shut down, and the Soviet government classified all reports. But declassified documents hint at something chilling. One official report described the creatures as human-like but not human, possessing strange bioluminescent skin and webbed extremities. Could it be that remnants of these ancient beings still exist in our waters today? And if they do, what else has been erased from history? If these accounts are true, then why do we know so little about these beings today? The answer might lie in what happened to ancient texts like the Book of Jubilees, banned, hidden, or deliberately erased from history. Consider this. Many ancient civilizations spoke of aquatic deities or half-human, half-fish beings. But what if these weren't just myths? In Mesopotamian lore, there is the story of Oannes, a being who emerged from the sea to teach humans the secrets of civilization. He was described as a half-fish, half-human hybrid with advanced knowledge. The Sumerians believed he wasn't alone. There were others like him, known as the Seven Apkallu, who helped shape early human societies. Now here's where things get strange. The Book of Enoch, another banned ancient text, describes the Watchers, fallen angels who corrupted the earth before the flood. But what most people never talk about is that some of these Watchers were believed to have taken refuge in the oceans when the flood came. If that's true, could some of them have survived? In 1986, a group of deep-sea divers exploring an underwater cave system off the coast of Cuba claimed to have discovered something impossible. Massive stone structures resembling an ancient city, thousands of feet below the ocean surface. Some believed it could be evidence of a lost civilization, but one diver reported something far more disturbing. He claimed that while inside one of the submerged chambers, he felt he was being watched. As he turned his flashlight toward the water, he saw a pair of glowing eyes staring back at him. Not from a fish, but from something that looked eerily human. Moments later, his equipment malfunctioned. His oxygen levels suddenly dropped, forcing him to surface. When the team returned, the entrance to the chamber had collapsed, as if something didn't want them to return. Official reports dismissed the event, but the diver, who refused to be named, later said in a private interview, "What I saw down there, it wasn't human, but it wasn't an animal either. It was something else, something intelligent." And this isn't an isolated case. In 2004, a U.S. Navy submarine conducting sonar scans near the Mariana Trench picked up unidentified fast-moving objects deep below the ocean floor. According to leaked reports, these objects displayed movements far beyond the capabilities of known marine life or modern technology. Some researchers began to speculate, could these be aquatic beings, remnants of a lost pre-flood race, still living in the depths of our oceans? There's also the case of Dr. Leona Gardner, a marine biologist who, in 2011, claimed to have discovered DNA fragments from an unknown aquatic species near the coast of Japan. The sequences were unlike any known fish, mammal, or reptile, and according to her, they bore strange similarities to human genetic markers. But after publishing her preliminary findings, Dr. Gardner suddenly disappeared. Her research was shut down, and all related documents were removed from public access. Some believe she was silenced, that she had stumbled upon something never meant to be discovered. So what are we really looking at here? A lost race of pre-flood aquatic beings? Survivors of an ancient civilization erased from history? Or something far more sinister, hiding in the depths, watching us just as we search for them? One thing is clear. If the Book of Jubilees and other forgotten texts hold even a fragment of truth, then what we think we know about human history is only the beginning.